What's up, everybody, and welcome once again to The Flex. It's your boy Craig, here for another week of fantasy football, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, and this is the fantasy advice show that you need to watch. And to jump right in, I always like to give the top scorer in my main league, and this week it was once again, for the second week in a row, Pennywise. Big ups to Ira. His team has not only been destroying its projections, but dominating every team in its way. He's 3-0. He put up against he actually went up against the guy in second place, first place versus second place, Pennywise versus TNT Hot Rods, and Pennywise put up 231.50 to actually what would have been the third highest scoring team, 163.24. This was a crazy matchup. Honorable mentions to Sin City Villains, putting up 167.92, overshooting his projection by 20 points, and beating Icon Menace 152.54. That was a close matchup. This week had a lot of good ones. My particular matchup, I did win again, jolting myself up to third. Actually, I think I was already in third. I was in third place. A person in second place dropped. Another person came up above me, outscored me for the season by about less than 10 points. But DJ Kittle, my team, 146.86, going up against Hoverson, the number one overall pick, 124.56. Very excited about this victory. Trying to keep it rolling. I had a pretty awesome situation in one of my other leagues. I was the top scorer in my one of my alternate leagues that I run. Ice Ice AB versus Zipperheads, which coincidentally was my dad's team. 198.22 to 170.76. This was a hell of a matchup. I think we were two of the three top scorers. I was the top scorer by 2 points. It was a crazy matchup, and I took the victory. Also moving myself up the ranks. Where did I end in that league? Let's find out where I'm positioned. Oh, only fifth place. Only fifth place. It was actually my first victory, but I am definitely up there in the points scored. But I need some more victories. I started off lost last week to my co-host AC by less than 4 points because Drew Brees went out, so that sucked. And then finally, in my only other league that I pay to play in, I also took home another victory. King of the North versus Awkward Teen Hunger. I put up 175.02 to 107.58. This was utter domination. My team was just performing. With that being said, I also just want to take a quick second to just go over the points I put up this past week. My team just shattered it. I originally had Drew Brees in my team. We all know that. He got injured and I lost last week. And I made a trade to get Cam Newton. And then boom, as soon as I traded for him, wow, he's out, he's gone, he's done. So now I have no quarterback and literally almost no one on my bench that I can give away. So I had to make a decision, and I went and I grabbed Josh Allen. And then I had Antonio Brown as my number one wide receiver. He gets cut by the New England Patriots. So now I need a number one wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton is good, but he's not number one wide receiver, So I offer a trade. I package up Tyler Boyd with Sony Michel, both who just had dynamic weeks. And I'm like, maybe if I showcase these dynamic weeks and I play off of them, maybe I can get a high-level player from someone who needs a running back and doesn't want to lose too much in the wide receiver position. And I reached real hard, real high, real far, and I asked a fellow manager for D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins, and he said he can't trade D-Hop. He said he's good in the running backs. I'm like, you only got 2. Once one has a bye week, you're done. I got Sony Michel ready to go. Come on, make the trade. And he was like, not for D-Hop. But he also had Julio Jones. So I said, what about Julio Jones? And he said, I can trade for Julio Jones. And wouldn't you know, he makes the trade. Julio Jones, 33.80 points. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And I completely dominated that trade and shoved him in the dirt. He was all the way up at the top, and he definitely lost this week because of this trade. And then I had T.Y. Hilton with 23.5. Alvin Kamara, my first overall pick, 44.10. Mark Ingram just went bananas, 42.5. I was a little disappointed. Mark Andrews, you know, he's been the top tight end this season. He only put up 5.5 points. You know, pretty much a lame duck for me. But with the points I was putting up, it didn't really matter too much. And then I have to point this out. You know, so I made the trade with Peter, and I gave him Sony Michel, I gave him Tyler Boyd, I get Julio Jones. But you know who else I get from him? By coincidence, for some reason, he drops Devontae Freeman. And I see this on the waiver wire, and I'm like, what? Devontae Freeman? Yeah, he's not great, and he's not working. But this week, he's playing Indianapolis. Indianapolis ain't stopping no run. So I scoop him up and I put him in 17.5 points. So in essence, I traded away Sony Michel, who put up 7.5 points. Tyler Boyd, who put up, I think, about between 12 and 17 points. And I got Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman, who put up a combined total of 51.5 points, or 51.2 points. So did I dominate this trade? I absolutely dominated this trade. And, you know, my kicker and my defense combined for 7 points, but it didn't matter. I was putting up so many points, I didn't even need my defense or my kicker to show out. It was just an amazing week. And my bench was even performing. Joe Mixon had 22. Tyrell Williams had 13.9. Jared Cook didn't do nothing, and everybody else on my bench is either injured, suspended, or not on a team. So, you know, I got Antonio Brown, Cam Newton, Drew Brees, and Melvin Gordon, when he comes back, is going to be a beast. You know, they're saying somewhere between week 6 and 8, it should be his scheduled return date, but we never know. All right, so let's get into some advice now that you done heard about all my teams. I went on a little long about that. I want to talk about players you should be trying to trade. I would always say, you know, do a combo package. Allow yourself to be able to pick someone up off the waiver wire after making a trade. Calvin Ridley, you know, he had 2 really good weeks, 1 bad week. If you have him, trade him. If someone else has him, you might be able to buy low. If you have him, don't sell low. I mean, Calvin Ridley is a quality wide receiver. He had 1 off week. Do not sell low on this guy. He is going to keep performing. And let me tell you this much right now. I want to say this. Do not give away the farm for Saquon Barkley. I need you to understand he's gone anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. It's probably going to be 6 to 8 weeks that he is out. We're already in week 3. We already went through week 3. Now it's week 4. You're talking about, even if it's 6 weeks, you're talking about week 9, week 10. Possibly week 11, week 12. Do you really want to trade something good to hold him on your bench for the playoffs? I mean, yeah, it could work out. It could work out. But he could come back and get hurt the very first game. He comes back, and then you've wasted whatever picks you gave. I would not trade away Saquon Barkley at this point. Trade away. See if you can sell him high. You know, you're not going to get anything. I don't think you'll get anything dynamic unless someone's absolutely stupid. But trade away Saquon Barkley now. You know what I'm saying? Before people do too much research and figure anything out, trade him away. Devontae Freeman just came off a big week. If you can get a good, you know, package Devontae Freeman with, say, the likes of Marvin Jones, and see if you can get yourself a higher wide receiver or running back, depending on what you're needing right now. Austin Eckler. once Melvin Gordon comes back, Austin Eckler becomes, I don't know, he might not become irrelevant, but he's not going to be a guy you want to start. You might throw him in your flex in desperation. But if Melvin Gordon comes back week 6, week 7, even week 8, halfway through the season, trade Eckler now while his value is high. You know what I'm saying? I traded him for Cooper Kupp before the first week. And at first I thought I regretted that decision. But not only is Cooper Kupp playing well, but Cooper Kupp's going to hopefully, barring injuries, going to play throughout the whole season. Josh Gordon, I love Josh Gordon. I wouldn't want to trade him. I like him. But if you can package up Josh Gordon with, say, Kenny Stills, and you can grab yourself a hot, like, say, for instance, you throw Josh Gordon together with Kenny Stills and someone has, a crappy wide receiver core, but they got Keenan Allen. Maybe you trade Keenan Allen, give them Josh Gordon, Kenny Stills, they get 2 decent wide receivers, you get 1 dynamic wide receiver, stuff like that. Marquise Brown, right now he's up and down. He had 2 hot weeks. He had 1 off week. Trade for him low, trade him away high. But see what you can get. Michael Thomas had an off week. It looks like the cause is Teddy Bridgewater. It looks like he's no longer as valuable. So if you're trying to trade for somebody, a wide receiver right now, you could probably get Michael Thomas for a little bit lower than people would normally want to sell him for. Once again, another combination like Kenny Stills and Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd, Kenny Stills, Tyler Boyd and Marvin Jones. It's a risk to give away guys that good, but I think Michael Thomas is always going to be Michael Thomas. He's just having a rough go at it with the transitioning quarterback who, he had a close relationship with Drew Brees. They understood each other. They grew, Michael Thomas grew up under Drew Brees on this team. So for Teddy Bridgewater to come in, that dynamic is going to be a little off. Kenny Stills, I brought his name up already. Once again, a nice little package deal. Austin Hooper or Greg Olsen. These 2 tight ends, Austin Hooper just had a really great game. Greg Olsen is on a hot streak. I don't believe Greg Olsen's hot streak is going to last. So if you can trade Greg Olsen and get, even the likes of, say, Josh Gordon, or if you could package him up and maybe get the likes of, T.Y. Hilton or something like that. Someone who, there's people in your league right now who do not have a valuable tight end. Their tight end is putting up single digits. And you have 2. You have Greg Olsen and you have someone who's good. Trade Greg Olsen away right now while he's hot. Unless you have George Kittle and he's on a bye week and you need Greg Olsen this week, you should be trying to trade Greg Olsen for something better. Marvin Jones, another person, man. Like I always tell people when I'm on my show, I'm giving advice based on, my belief system. They're suggestions. These are, personal feelings and ideas that I have. And one of the things I believe in is Marvin Jones starts hard and then falls off a cliff. And then every once in a while, he pops up. I do not believe in consistency from Marvin Jones. I don't believe in consistency from the Detroit Lions, period. But Marvin Jones is definitely a strong offender of that. Right now, he's hot. Right now, you can get... I just saw someone trade away Austin Hooper and Jared Cook for Marvin Jones. And a lot of people said, oh, the person who traded Marvin Jones, he screwed himself over. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. Jared Cook is taking a little while to get started up. I believe he gets going. And Austin Hooper's kind of like an iffy guy. He's kind of like a plug and play. You have a bye week or he has a really good matchup, you throw him in. I did say last week, I said that the tight end to start last week was Austin Hooper. I thought that matchup was dynamic and it worked out just how I said it would. Another guy is DJ Chark. DJ Chark is looking amazing right now, and he's looking like a high-value trade option. I don't know if he can keep it up all season long, and I say that because I have no clue what to think about Gardner Minshew. I mean, he's balling out right now. He is balling out, and DJ Chark is his favorite target and his most reliable target. But D.D. Westbrook, he had an off game last week. He's had an off beginning to the year, but D.D. Westbrook is really good. DJ Chark, I just don't know. I don't have the confidence that DJ Chark is going to be progressively good throughout the season. Package him up with somebody and maybe grab a better wide receiver. People are going to be looking at DJ Chark and salivating because he's gotten to double digits 2 weeks in a row. He is looking extremely scary. So see what you can do with that. See what you can do. Package him up, trade him off ASAP. Tyler Boyd, Tyler Boyd's going to be good all year. I think he's going to be good all year. He ain't going to be the best wide receiver, but he's going to be good all year. And that's kind of like a selling point on Tyler Boyd, is that if you can trade him to get a better wide receiver or to get a running back that you need, the selling point is that he is going to be good all year. He's not necessarily always going to be 20, 30 point good, but he is going to be good all year long unless he gets injured. He is the number one wide receiver in Cincinnati, and even when A.J. Green comes back, he's not coming back at 100%. So when he does come back, Tyler Boyd is still going to be the top receiver for that team. Sony Michel, I just told you I traded him off. Now, I traded him off before he had a slump week, but he did have a slump week against a very stout front four of the Jets. So although I do think Sony Michel is going to be good most of the year, I think he is definitely someone you want to trade off of your team. Josh Jacobs is on a team that is going to slowly decline more and more each week. I don't believe in this team. I don't think that they're going to do well offensively. Josh Jacobs is, I don't think he gets completely worse, but I think he's going to have less weeks. I think he's going to have more weeks in single digits than he is in double digits. And I think that the weeks that he's going to break 20 points are going to be few and far between, once in a blue moon, maybe once a month, if that. Josh Jacobs breaks 20 points. And Phillip Lindsay. Now, here's the thing with Phillip Lindsay. I think Phillip Lindsay has just scratched the surface this season. He started off slow. He's picked it up last week. He was on fire. He was killing it. And I don't believe for a second that he's not going to be good all year long. I don't think he'll be a top 10 guy, but I do think he's going to be a top 20 guy. And I think that you could package Phillip Lindsay with someone and once again grab someone that is high level. Maybe you could be that guy who trades Phillip Lindsay to get two smaller pieces that you actually need from somebody else. I don't know how you're going to work it out, but Phillip Lindsay, his trade value just jumped up. I say trade him away while you still can. This is a team that is relying on the run game, and I'm just hoping he doesn't get hurt. Trade him away while he is still fresh. Players you want to try to go off for, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say Julio Jones. I just traded for him, and he just made my team dynamic. It's going to be a little bit harder to get him off people now after he had such a huge week, but I think Julio Jones is a guy you want to definitely look out for. Keenan Allen just had a dynamic week. He is Phillip Rivers' favorite target, and I think that he's only going to get better once Melvin Gordon comes back. I don't think he's going to be 3 touchdowns in a game better, but he's going to be good. Le'Veon Bell. I feel like Le'Veon Bell can be bought for cheap money right now. He had a bad game against New England. He's on a team that's just completely imploding on itself. They're playing with their third string quarterback. Even though Sam Darnold's coming back, right now it's going to look bad for at least another week or two at best. At best, they're going to be bad for another week or two. So I say, see if you can buy Le'Veon Bell cheap. And by cheap, I mean, hypothetically speaking, Phillip Lindsay and Kenny Stills. If a guy has, okay wide receiver, but they're not good. His run game is strong. Le'Veon Bell was his second running back. That's happened a lot this year. Say, hey, I'll give you Phillip Lindsay. I'll give you Kenny Stills. Throw me Le'Veon Bell. See what someone says. The worst someone's going to ever say to you is no. And, even try to pull a fast one. Throw out someone like, if you have Marvin Jones or a player like Marvin Jones, but you have Saquon Barkley, trade them for Le'Veon Bell. Maybe even throw in a Sony Michel or Chris Thompson or a Tariq Cohen. See what you can package up. Antonio Brown is someone you definitely want to try to trade away. See if you can kind of talk someone into buying Antonio Brown for you. Maybe, maybe you can get Kenny Stills or Marvin Jones or Jarvis Landry or a Greg Olsen or Austin Hooper for Antonio Brown. You don't know when Antonio Brown's going to play. And when he plays, yeah, he's probably still going to be Antonio Brown, but, you know, the wait, is it worth it? Is he actually going to play? We don't know. Someone might be willing to trade you for Antonio Brown, and I'm saying trade for him. See what happens. You could probably buy Saquon Barkley real cheap right now. And I know I said don't trade for him, but when I say cheap, I mean you better be paying. Like, I would trade Tariq Cohen to get Saquon Barkley. Tariq Cohen should be your number 4 running back on your squad. I'd trade Tariq Cohen to get Saquon Barkley. Who else would I trade to get Saquon Barkley? Chris Thompson or Adrian Peterson, Peyton Barber. Who else? There's a lot of running backs that are worth trading away right now. Singletary. I would probably trade Singletary to get Saquon Barkley, especially if you have, you know, 3 solid running backs and you have Singletary. If you could trade him away and snatch up Saquon Barkley, I think you know, you might be winning. You might be winning. And make sure, if you haven't done it already, ain't nobody paying attention, make sure you grab Galman, the backup running back for the Giants. I mean, Saquon Barkley out that long, he's going to get his touches. Maybe even pick him up just so you can trade him. You know, pick him up, pick him up before the guy who lost Saquon Barkley, and then trade him for Saquon Barkley. All right, man, you get him for 8 weeks, and I got Saquon Barkley when it's over. You know, I don't know. See what happens. T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton is definitely someone to target. He has been awesome all year long. And if you have some pieces that you can get rid of, see if you can trade for him. Sterling Shepard is on fire. He comes back from concussion protocol looking amazing. And now he gets to come back as soon as the real quarterback comes into play. And it looks like those two guys are matching up really well. So I would go after him. You probably can't get Mike Evans. I don't think anybody's going to be willing to trade him. But if you think there's a trade that can be made, you know, make that trade. You know, maybe you match up Odell Beckham with Kenny Stills. Boom. Hey, got Kenny Stills, got Odell Beckham. Let me get Mike Evans. Mike Evans is looking nasty. The matchup between him and Jameis Winston is looking like Jameis Winston's first year. It's pretty amazing. George Kittle. You could trade for him right now. I think you could probably get him at a low value. I saw him get traded for a low running back in Vance McDonald. I've seen that happen. So I would definitely try to make a trade for him. You could probably get him low. Maybe the likes of Greg Olsen and, say, Sony Michel for George Kittle. Right now he's slow. I believe he picks it up as the season progresses. The tight end from Oakland, Waller, try to make a trade for him. He's looking pretty good. I don't know if I trust. I just told you I don't know if I trust this offense. But Jacobs and Waller are the only two shining lights. I mean, Tyrell Williams right now, but people are gonna figure him out. He's a one-trick pony. I do not like him. Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram is definitely a good quality running back. He just put up 40-something points. Maybe you can, you know, package together the likes of Josh Jacobs and, say, Sony Michel. Combo package those two guys together, offer them up for Mark Ingram, see what happens. Chris Carson, that's another guy you could probably offer up. Yeah, he had a bad week, but he's been playing pretty well for most of the season so far, the two out of the 3 games. McLaurin, the wide receiver from Washington Redskins, the only valuable wide receiver they have. He is looking good. That rookie is looking awesome. And I think once Dwayne Haskins comes in and takes over, they played together in college. I think that duo is just going to come right back together again. So right now he's doing okay. I think as the season progresses, he gets a lot better. Julian Edelman, man, what an incredible game he had last week. It was all about the points per reception. He was just catching so many passes, and he was getting the yards down the field, looking really good. Definitely a quality 2 wide receiver, someone that you could package up, say Marquise Brown and Marvin Jones to grab Julian Edelman. That's a huge risk trade right there. Actually, I think that might be too high of a value. Maybe Marvin Jones and Kenny Stills might be a better combo package right there. There's lots of wide receivers that are mid-level worth trading. I would look out for that. Chris Carson. Chris Carson is a guy that I think people are going to lose faith in after this bad week he had. He's fumbled in every game this week. But I think Chris Carson is a pretty decent running back. He's not a top 10 guy, but he definitely can get the job done, and he can fill in on bye weeks. So look to try to make a trade for him as well. So those are my players to trade for. If you're in a good league, the waiver wire is picked clean. But if you're hurting for a quarterback, Gardner Minshew is looking really good. Josh Allen is a beast. Who else? I would take a chance on Matthew Stafford. If you're really desperate, and it's picked clean, I think that Mason Rudolph has a decent matchup against Cincinnati. I don't know how much I trust that matchup. Cincinnati does have a terrible defense. I don't really know how I feel about it. Jacoby Brissett and Derek Carr are facing each other. I don't think either one of their defenses are very good, but Jacoby Brissett has the better offensive weapons. So, there's that. With that being said, I don't have any more tips for you today. Tune in next week for more trade options and more starts and sits. It's too early in the season. You should already know who you should be starting, but do know Cincinnati is a weak matchup, and anybody on the Buffalo Bills is gonna suck this week. You should already know anybody on the Miami Dolphins is gonna suck this week, but the Chargers are playing, so you should play Phillip Rivers, and you should play Austin Eckler, and you should play the Chargers defense. Just no-brainers right there. Maybe even Justin Jackson, going up against Miami, it's a great matchup for him. He did score a touchdown last week, but that's it. He scored a touchdown, and I think it was a 10-yard touchdown. He put up 7 points, but maybe against Miami he has a better opportunity. Make sure you check out all my shows. This is The Flex. I have The End Zone and Tail of the Tape, all on Jim Bag Entertainment on YouTube. Search Jim Bag, one word, Entertainment on YouTube to check out all of our shows every week as they come out. You can also check me out on Jim Bag Entertainment, my Facebook page, and you can also check out Jim Bag _ENT on Instagram. Hit me up for questions. If you have any advice needs, you can always message me on Facebook. I answer questions all the time to let people know what to put in their lineup, who to put away, whether or not a trade is worth making. Hit me up anytime, and I will respond, I promise. And until next week, have a good night.